Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So, shall we start? I think we should start today's session. So, yesterday we have completed Unit 4, and today we will start Unit 5. And the topic is Nature and Scope of Child Psychology. In this topic, we will discuss what is the nature of psychology and what is the importance of psychology and the development of child psychology means what are the steps and what are the factors which influence the development of children and what is the role of preschool in the education of young children. So today that we are going to discuss. So we have studied a lot about the psychology, education psychology, various definition we have discussed yesterday. So today we will discuss the what is child psychology. So, child psychology is a branch of particularly focus on the mind and behavior of child. It is psychology only, but it is dealing with child. Means if we talk only psychology, means that is dealing the mind and behavior of human being. When we are talking that if when we are talking about child psychology, that it deals with the mind and behavior of child, and from the prenatal stage to adolescence. It is not just limited to how children grow physically, but also with their mental, emotional, and social development also. Because in child psychology, we learn about not only physical development of the child, even we learn their mental, their social, their emotional development. Child psychology is the pattern of growth, a process often divided for convenience into five stages of child means these are the five stages of childhood. That is, first is prenatal period or period from conception to birth. The second, infancy or the period embracing the first 2 years. The third is early childhood, and that include 2 to 6 years, and middle childhood including 6 to 9 years, and above that means above 9 to uh, up to teenage means teenage 19, that is called adolescence age. So these are the five stages of development of childhood, and we will discuss the psychology at each and every level means prenatal level, what is the psychology of child, what is the behavior expected, and so on at every stage of the childhood. So, following are the some major contexts that must be considered while analyzing the child psychology. When we talk about the child psychology, means we are discussing about social context, in cultural context, and socio-economic context. So, when we will discuss the child psychology of the child behavior and their mind study, means we will discuss this all in the social context, in the cultural context, and the socio-economic context. Yeah, what is the importance of studying child psychology? So, child psychology, we could understand that child psychology is a psychology in which we study the psychology of child. So, what is the importance of studying child psychology? First, why it is important? It is important for selecting the suitable programs. If, as a teacher, as a parents, we are aware, we are well acquainted with the child psychology, then we will be able to help the children for selecting the suitable programs. Means the knowledge of child psychology can be helpful in selecting daycare program and handling children's temper tantrum, etc. The further why it is important for increasing happiness. While knowing the child psychology, a teacher or as well as parents, as a parents, we will be able to create the environment for increasing the happiness of the child. So, child psychology is not only a theoretical study of child, but also aim at increasing their happiness. Child psychology suggests ways that what are the ways and mean to realize adjustment of human being at different stage of life. If the child is well aware their challenges and many stages, so teacher or parents can guide them, can mentor them and how to cope up with the upcoming challenges which are coming in their life at different stages. Further, child psychology is important for understanding how a children feels. It enables us to understand how child feels and what ways they differ from adults, mean what they are feeling and what they want and what way they express during their feeling. So we will be able to know their feelings by knowing the child psychology. For detecting the deviant development, why the proper development is not taking place. So by knowing the child psychology, we as a teacher, as a parents will be able to how children, yeah, why children is not taking development as expected. So child psychology can help you means as a teacher, as a parents in early detection of problems in children arising due to deviant development. If any deviation in the development of body, physical body or mental or their behavioral, so we can uh, diagnose that and we can identify that and we can diagnose that with the help of psychologist as well as teacher and guide. So these are the some definitions of child psychology or some pupils who have did a lot of work in child psychology. Child psychology basically, if you say that who is the father of child psychology, that the name is Stanley Hall. Stanley Hall can be considered as a father of child psychology because he first time given theory on that is Stanley theory based on child psychology. So he can be considered as father of child psychology. Then Watson has also done some important work. He tried to make child psychology a natural science by introducing objective research method based on observe, which can be observed and measurable behaviors, the behaviorism. So Watson also did some important work on child psychology because he tried to summarize or he tries to convert child psychology or try to cope up with the natural science as the research are being in natural science, he tried to say. Sigmund Freud is other's name. He has given the techniques of psychoanalysis and the theory of psychosexual development are the two major contribution of psychology that has given by Sigmund Freud. Id, ego, and superego are also theory given by Sigmund Freud. The next is Arnold Gesell in 1961. Seems he has given theory seems to have believed that child is development is guided primarily by the genetic process and the environment play only a minor role. So he has in opinion that the most important role in child development of genetic only, although he has accepted the role of environment but not at a large level. It is a minor role of environment. Piaget, Jean Piaget is the name who has given a wonderful theory on child development. Even he did. And last slides that we were discussing, then Piaget was done lot most of experience on his child only. So his theory is also important. That is known as Piaget theory on cognitive development. So in cognitive theory of development, Piaget has given a lot of contribution. So is the Piaget is the most influential developmental theorist to date. Piaget ideas have inspired more researchers, and his conception of human development has revolutionized from other pioneers discussed here in his theoretical views are widely accepted in some form and by the other form contemporary child cycle because he has given logics. Hence Piaget views and his theory are discussed in detail. So what is Piaget's theory? We will discuss it. Next, the coming slides show me that we will discuss Piaget's theory in detail because he has given a very important theory that is known as Piaget's theory on cognitive development. So next topic is preschool for the development of children. Ideally, the best preschool institutions is the home. Yes, and mother is the first teacher, and school home is the first school of the child. But only few homes provide the right type of environment to the growing child, as only few parents are conscious of their responsibilities and duties. Because there are many remote areas where parents are not literate, not educated, so they are not much aware, much responsible for the education of their children. The preschool is not a place for formal education. Yes, it is very clear. It is a kind of non-formal education. It is the informal education. It is the halfway house between the home and to the school. The connecting link means preschool is a link in which preschool connect the child from home environment, that is learning home environment, to the school environment. So that is not a formal institute for education, which makes the transition means preschool is the makes the transition from formal to the later smooth. So this is the preschool. The primary school education should provide for healthy all-round development of the child. So primary education should be based on all-round development of the child. The chief prerequisite to learning is the learner's readiness to learn. Yes. See, if the learner is not ready to learn, there are four important pillar of learning. One is learner should be ready to learn. Second, teacher should also be ready to teach. Third, there should be a proper environment for teaching and learning. And the most important, teacher should aware what teaching techniques, what teaching methods should be adopted for good quality of learning or good quality of teaching. So there are four pillar of learning. So indeed, we have given one only. The chief prerequisite to learning is the learner is readiness to learn. Learner should be ready, and it is a duty of teacher by using their classroom method or teaching technology or and this subject knowledge that can influence, that can motivate the child to learn. So two of the most important factor which determines readiness are as follows. Means there are two factors which makes the child ready to learn. One is maturation and second is experience. If the teacher is mature, if the child is mature to learn, if the experience of teacher is enough to motivate the child and to illustrate the example and to tell their story and rhymes. So these are the two important factors to make the child ready to learn. This is nature of learning at preschool. So what kind of nature of learning at preschool? The preschool make the informal or preparatory stage in education, as we have discussed in the previous slide, because it is informal education in preschool and kind of preparatory stage in education, and that is a link home to the school. Preschool do provide equipment, encouragement, and guidance in learning a wide variety of play skills. Preschools must include activities for mental, intellectual, emotional, and social development of the child. Means preschool must have uh, include the various kind of physical activity, mental activity. By using that, the teacher can inculcate, teacher can develop the mental, intellectual, emotional, and social development of the child. Preschool is illustrated with the reference to the two basic subjects of pre-primary school, that is language and number. Means in preschools the main focus should be on language. Means learner or child should speak their own language, and they should be aware with the numbers, which number is large, which number is small, and means there should be a proper knowledge of kind of counting. So language says that enrichment of vocabulary through conversation, stories, nature, talk, song, etc. Language also talk about stories and songs. Ramayana and Mahabharata means there should be basic knowledge of kind of vocabulary, kind of stories and songs. Basic experience, find out what experience they have, make to deficiency in their experience, I'm sorry, make up the deficiency in their experience. Means there should be a proper background, background experience. Means which is right and which is wrong, which is correct, which is not. So this kind of experience should be come up within the learners. Then next is reading and writing. So proper reading ability should be developed. Proper writing ability should also be developed at preschool. So numbers talk about preschool child should be presented with a variety of concrete situations where they get practical experience in weighing and measuring, buying, selling, handling money, etc. Means there should be a practical examination. Examples means if you give the 10 rupees to the child and he buys something, and what will be the extra, what will be the remaining money, and that may be possible by knowing the number and their usage. So this basic, very basic information of numbers should be given to the learners, and they should be well acquainted with the knowledge of learners. So this is about unit 5, means child psychology and their importance and preschool, and what is the importance of preschool and how it is linked with the school. So next topic is, that is unit 6, and unit 6 talks about tools and techniques of child study. Means there are so many study that you people have also to do in their project, that is MES 085. So what are the tools and techniques for the child study that we are going to discuss? Just a minute, just have a break of 30 seconds. Yes. So in this unit 6, we will discuss the tools and techniques of child study, and that, as I said, that you have also to do some child study and case studies of the child, and that is the important part of your MES 085, and that we will discuss in the last session. So because in your program that MES, there are 5 courses: MES 081, 082, 083, 084, and last 085 talks about the activity that you have to do as a practical, as a practicum, and have to submit all these practicums at your regional centers only. So let us take the today's topic. So in this topic, we will be able to understand the importance of child study, describe the approaches used for child, which are the approaches which will be used for child study, differentiate between various methods used in understanding child, and explain the application of child study, means what is the importance of child study, why we are doing the child study. We will discuss in this unit. So first, we should be aware what is the child study and what is the importance of child study. Child study is a child study provide a window to the child's words, means what the child is doing in his or her words, or you may say in his life. So that we study that what he is doing and why that child is doing, and how he or she is doing. So study of the activities of the child, whatever he or she is performing in their life, in their for particular span for 30 days or 15 days, we will observe the child and we will take some objectives. We will see then how the learner is learning the rhymes, how the learner is using the ability to write. So that we will discuss, we will identify, and then we will observe the child and we study. So child study provide a window to child's word. It enable us to understand how they feel, in which way do they are different or same, or the say all childs are thinking or behaving the same. We This is the concern of study. Method of studying child psychology should be the objective, organized, systematic, and real. So this will be the parameters. Means first we will take some objectives and organize the study and systematic. And the study should be real. It should not be based on previous biasness and previous studies. That your child study should be very very practical, very very real. So what are the approaches of child study? There are two approaches of child study. One is qualitative approach of child study, and second is quantitative approach of child study. Qualitative means we will discuss the different aspect, their opinion, their attitude, their aptitude, their mental ability, which cannot be seen. Quantitative, then how much height he or she has gained, then how much IQ is there, which can be measured, that comes under the quantitative. So we will discuss the child study in two ways. One is qualitative approach, and second is quantitative approach. Yes, so likewise, we will discuss one by one. First is qualitative approach of child study. So, qualitative approach of child study based on observation, self reports. These are the two way by which we can study the child. One is observation. Through observation, meaningful and authentic experience of the child can be studied. observe a child interactions under the specific circumstances. Means if we want to know the child interaction in the school or child interaction in the peer group and child interaction in the society or child in school, child interaction in the home, so that we have to identify, because the child interactions at various places may not be same, because the circumstances may be different. So through observation, meaningful and authentic experience of a child can be studied. Observe a child interaction under specific circumstances in a laboratory setting from behind a one-way mirror, because whatever we are identifying, so that we has to assume that school environment is a kind of laboratory, or society is a kind of laboratory where the child is behaving, child is interacting with others, so that we have to study. When the observation of the behavior of the child is conducted in natural environment, it is called naturalistic observation. So observation means you have to observe the child for 15 days, 20 days, but it's for a particular parameter. Particular parameter means what you have to want, what you have to study of the child. Self-report. A self-report involves collecting the data directly from the participants. Directly from the participants means you can give some questions to the child that write their own experience, their about them, that what is the age, what is the name, and what is the family members, and what is the status. So you can give kind of questions to the child, and you can collect their reports in their own views, because observation can be biased, because whatever they are writing, that may be the more realistic. So self report involve collecting the data directly from the participant, in your case the child in your class, by asking them to answer some questions. And these there could be two form of self report. One may be the interview, and the second may be the questionnaire. Means you can set the questions, and then you can ask one by one, that is called interview method. Or you can write all questions on a page and distribute to the children, that is called kind of questionnaire method, to collect the data. So this method has the following defect. Although this self-report is important, but there are some limitations, some defects also. What they are defect? The child may not give the correct answer. If you are asking some questions to the child in the classroom, then he may not give the correct answer, as he may be the prone to conceal the trait, because their trait is not allowing him or her to speak in front of group. He may be the shy nature. There is no device to evaluate the validity of the responses received. Sometimes childs gives wrong answers, childs do not give the correct answers. So there is no device to check that answer, their responses are correct. A child may not understand the certain question, because some questions may be at par of the level of the child, and he or she is not able to understand the question. If he or she is not able to understand the question, then how she or he will reply the questions? Hence they may be give wrong answers, or they may left blank. With the questionnaire is sent away to parents, they may answer the item. If the questionnaire is giving to their parents, so sometimes what happen, only parents gives the answer. So they gives their own views, on answers, on experience. So they may not be valid for our study. So when the questionnaire is sent to away to the parents, they may answer the items on their past experience, and may not like to observe children actually. So our basic purpose always defeat. The parents and teachers may not like to reveal certain defects of their children, as they consider them as a reflection upon themselves. Sometimes false points are added in the answers in order to make them appear more interesting, because the questions is asking questions is related to something else and answer is coming to with the something else. So that may be the these are the some defects in questionnaire method as well as interview method, because the method is same, only the administration is different. Interview same questionnaire, same questions are there. Questionnaire same questions are there. Interview means one by one there researcher is asking from the child, and questionnaire that set of questions is given to the respondent as well as child. So apart from these defects, there are certain advantage of questionnaire. There are some certainly some advantage of questionnaire also. The method help finding out many answers his own children within a short time, because observation takes a time. That observation may take 30 days, 20 days, even 2 months, 3 months, and 6 months. But in questionnaire, you can get your answers within a short time. Thus, much time is saved by this method. This method also enable us to know the point of view of parents and teachers about the children, because in questionnaire we can add some questions that may be asked, that may be filled by the teachers and the parents also. So questionnaire method, there are some limitations, but there are some certainly importance also. So that should be taken care, do taken care by using this method for the child study. Qualitative approach of the child study. Earlier we have discussed the quantitative. Now it is a qualitative. Qualitative means kind of case study is there. A case study is an intensive study of a specific individual or a specific context, which help in getting detailed information about individual development. So Freud developed case studies of several individuals as the basis for the theory of psychoanalysis, and Piaget did case study on his own children to study developmental phases. So qualitative means the most important is the case study, and case study is a individual study, means there is not a group, that one child can be taken for the study, and one child with for one problem or one specific context. So and the most two psychologists, important psychologists, Sigmund Freud and Jean Piaget, has also did the same on their study, on their case study. A case study provides the extensive data which gives detailed picture of the developmental process of individual and explain various factors, that may be the family history, school experience, social and economic circumstances, which might affect the development of the child. This method provides useful input for giving appropriate guidance to the child. That is the case study. There are some other qualitative approach of the child, that is interview method, diary description. As a teacher, you all must be aware that we as a teacher write the information of the child in a diary. Same the log or journal, these are the same. And anecdotal record means it is a complete and detailed information is being recorded in anecdotal record. It is a descriptive narrative record which is used to detail specific behavior of the child, and it is being used even today in school by the teachers for the child study. The next is checklist. Sorry, next is rating scale. There might be the 3 point or 3 point scale or 5 point scale, and these scales were given by the Likert. And these scale, right scale is known as Likert 3 point scale or Likert 5 point scale. 3 point scale means there may be the three possible answer. Just say first question, do you beat other children? Then student may reply never, he or she may reply sometimes, or he may say there are three possible answers of questions. It is called 3 point scale, Likert 3 point scale. The next may be the do you steal? The answer may be the five. Expected answer may be the five, and the student has to opt only one. Never, occasionally, sometimes, frequently, and always. So based on the expected answers, it is a 3 point scale and for 5 point scale, because these methods has been defined, has been identified by the Likert. So this scale is known as Likert's rating scale. Yes. The next is we have discussed the qualitative methods of child study, interview, and this questionnaire, case study, and others. So now comes to the quantitative. Quantitative means which have the numbers, data in numbers, in weight, in other form, which can be observed, which can be seen, which can be measured. So that is known as quantitative method. So one is experimental method, psychometric method, clinic method, and projective techniques. So what is experimental method? In the experimental method, the variable are controlled. Means variable means the child may be taken as rural and urban, and this age also can be the variable. Means 4 years age and 6 year age. The experimenter tries to introduce change in the independent variable gradually. As a result, a child shows some changes in their behavior. The disadvantage of this method is unnatural. It is unnatural of the experimental laboratory, which can create a fear in a child. Therefore, it is necessary that a child is provided a natural environment when this method is used. Means here, researcher may use this experimental method. Means if they are taking the child in a controlled way, means under the supervision of their parents and their guardian, then he or she is asking some questions. So learner is a kind of experimenter, and how he or she is behaving in the family in front of their parents. But if you do really do want to the study, then this kind of pressure should be removed. Then natural study should be done in the kind of natural environment. Psychometric method is very popular method for study of children, because by using this method, we can, as a researcher, we can analyze the mental abilities, educational achievements, and what are the interests, what are the personality trait are measured by has to measured by this method. So this is important because the various behavioral aspects can be measured by the psychometric method, and this is the most scientific method of the measurement. By using that, we used to provide some conditions, and we used to administer some kind of observation and questionnaires. Means it is a long uh, experiment on the child. clinical Clinical means first we have to get the history of child, then in what condition his or her birth was done, and what was the family environment, what was the parent education, parent health. So clinical history of child interview, and some tests are generally the principal tools of this method. Means what is the history of the child, and some questions from the child. This is the basic history of the child. In clinical method, the principle of psychoanalysis are also used. There are some principles of psychoanalysis that we will discuss, that all has to use in clinical method. Moreover, the interpretation done by the experimenter may be biased, because what happened in every research, researcher can divert their outcomes. So research, many time research could biased. So, and outcomes may also be biased. So it is the duty of researcher that he or she should be free from the biasness. So clinical method has this problem, that the experimenter may be biased, as they have the inevitable impact on his personality. Their own personality can be the hurdle of the true outcomes in clinical method. Projective techniques. This techniques is used to study the personality traits of child. In this method, a child project his or her idea with the help of some external situations. For example, a picture, a group of ballot, or some of other incomplete figure is placed before the child, and the child is being asked to write down whatever comes in their mind, irrespective of the relevance. In this way, a child project inner ideas, thinking, on the basis of which the investigator make the estimate their personality. Means this is a and it is also being used in even various competitions, also various defense competitions. Projective techniques even still being used. They give some situations, and applicants has to write their own views and has to describe their own views. By this they estimate the personality of the child. Design of the study, there are various design of the child study. One is longitudinal approach, cross sectional approach, and there are of course some limitations and delimitations of these type of design. And there are two only design. One longitudinal designs approach involve studying the same group of participants over the particular time period. The main purpose of longitudinal approach is to find out the developmental tendency by making an intensive study of various traits of child at an individual level. In longitudinal approach, the same child is studied intensively at various stages of development through separate observation from time to time. Means it is a very longitudinal, means it is a very long time study, and in different situation, different age group, we study the learner's behavior. Cross-sectional approach. In the cross-sectional approach, an attempt is made to find development characteristics at same specific stage of development by collecting data. Here the learners may be more, and in the longitudinal our data is very small, but very different level we study the behavior of the child. Yes, in cross-sectional approach, an attempt is made to find development characteristics at some specific stage of development by collecting data through observing the child in a big group. In a cross-sectional approach, the child of various stages are selected and observed in a group at the same time. On the basis of obtained data, the average nature of development at the specific age is estimated. The average of such stage is accepted as the norm for this stage. Means there may be the big group of children, and there may be the various different age group student. So this is the cross sectional approach. Although there are some limitations and advantage of these two type of approaches, the longitudinal approach is more expensive in the term of time and energy. Then the cross sectional approach is very using very take very small time and energy. If we really want to study of developmental tendencies of the child, and we have to use the longitudinal approach, because this enable us to understand the various characteristics of the child from stage to stage, different stage to stage. The cross-sectional approach too has some advantages. This approach help us to study various group of children within a short time. The investigator has not to wait for the next stage of development. Means we use different age group, and first we study suppose 0 to 2 age, and the second is 2 to 4 years age, and the third is 4 to 6 year age. So we are having three group, and we are studying simultaneously all three group. That is possible through cross sectional. But in the longitudinal, we have to take one set of group, and we have to observe all these stages is three stages in their order, not having different groups. So these are the two differences, and more about the longitudinal approach and cross sectional approach. These are the two design of the child study. Application of child study, why we do the child study and what are the applications. So first is knowledge about individual potential. By doing the child study, one, as a teacher, as a parents, we are able to understand the child. The first step is to know about the abilities, capabilities, interest, aptitude, and other personality trait of individual pupil. For this purpose, intelligence test, cumulative record, interest inventories, attitude scale, aptitude test, and measures for assessing personality traits. So these are the way how we can test, how we can analyze the individual potential. Ability grouping in the light of results derived from various results like aptitude scale, attitude scale, knowing individual differences in different in the term of individual potentiality in the various dimensions. The learner in the class or area of activity can be divided into the homogeneous group. Such divisions can prove beneficial in adjusting the interaction to varying individual difference when we can take two group. One is the age wise, the second may be the IQ level, and third may be the learning capacity level, and four may be the type of preschool and type of society and type of environment. So we can group the children for doing the study and for even for nurturing them. Adjusting the curriculum by knowing the study of the child, we can suggest the appropriate curriculum to meet out the requirement of learner. The curriculum should be flexible and differentiated as much as possible so that the learners may get opportunities to study and work in their areas and their own interest and abilities. It should provide adjustment suiting to the local requirement and potentialities of the students in different groups. Adopting the appropriate method of teaching by knowing the child, by doing the study, we as a teacher can adopt the appropriate method of teaching to make provision for the varying individual differences. Adjustment with regard to adaptation method teaching is also most essential, and that we can do by doing the child study. Adopting a special program or method for individuals. The school may also adopt some special program and some kind of seminar, some kind of outdoor activities, method of teachings like Dalton plan is there and other plans are also there. The project method or the programmed learning materials enabling the child to learn at their own pace and as per their own interest. So we can adopt the many social, many special program for the individual learners. So this was the unit 6. This is unit 7 that talks about the child guidance and what are the principles and procedures. To just start, yes. So in this unit 7, we will discuss the meaning of guidance and differentiate between the various type of guidance, importance of guidance at preschool level, and what is the process of guidance, child guidance, and discuss the importance of child counselor or relationship. What is the importance of child counselor? So that we will discuss is this unit. So first, let us know what is the meaning of guidance. In common parlance, the guidance is a process of helping individual in adjusting to themselves to other and to their own particular curricular situations. Guidance is a process of assisting the individual with his or her adjustment problems. So it is simple that guidance is kind the help of uh, individual in their adjustment in their kind of what they want to achieve. So guidance, its aims and functions. Guidance is a personal assistance. It can be given individually or it can be given in the group. For guidance services of trained guidance personals, career masters, psychologists, and counselors are required. I mean, all those call also the guide means career counselor, career master, psychologist. They all can be considered as a guide. Guidance aim at preparing individual for their future life. It help a acquiring essential abilities and capabilities to accomplish tasks in future. It also help in selecting proper profession and role in the society. Hence, guidance has both personal and social significance. So, guidance, the role of guidance is important, and if you know that every teacher has a different role apart of teaching as a guide. So because he or she help the child at every moment in their learning, in their adjusting, in their writing. So many in many ways teacher is a guide. So type of guidance, the guidance may be the educational guidance, means the if the guidance is given in term of education, it is called educational guidance. Vocational guidance is also a help rendered for the vocational selections and problems related to progress, keeping in view the characteristics of and vocational opportunities of a person. Its objective is to provide the opportunity to the person for personal progress by vocation and get satisfied by ultimately help and the country with complete and effective use of manpower. Means whatever guidance is given for the vocational development, and that is called vocational guidance, when what vocation has to choose and which is the most important and which is the recent need. And personal guidance, it is a something personal. It cannot be given in the group. It is individualized guidance. It consists the personal and individual advice offered by a guide to the individualized for a situations of later personal problems. So it is personal guidance when the uh, problem of a personal is addressed by the guide. Guidance at preschool level. Teacher have to understand the child and give the necessary help in personal and social development. It is a kind of guidance. Early guidance of a child help the child to adjust with the new. Just a minute, there is a call. Yes, early guidance of child help the student or the sorry child to adjust with the new situations and develop the ability to face problems and resolve them. A child is flexible in his or her early years, and any problem of a child less time to become deep rooted to resist modification, how to resist and how to modify their behavior. It is the guidance, and that is done in the preschool level. The parents are keenly concerned about their young ones in the school, and their cooperation and help can be easily obtained. Parents are also guide. Many years of adjustments lie ahead of the child to grow and develop. It is also based on guidance. Guiding preschool children involve helping them with their learning problems and making their experience at school enjoyable and engaging. Means teachers are guide who can solve the problem, and the learning can be taken as a joy and kind of engagement in the fruitful learning or fruitful outcomes. Child guidance and counseling. Child guidance help the child in adjusting to the new situations. During guidance, a child develop the ability to solve the problems and resolve them. Procedure of child guidance. There are four different levels at which, as a teacher, you can be set goals, which are as follows: level one, level two, level three, level four. One is fundamental goal. Fundamental goal means at preschool. Parents' goal: what is the parents' duty? What parents has to do in the form of guidance. Goals formulated by the counselor. This is the third set when the teacher is performing his or her duty as a counselor to guide or to counsel what kind of subject, what kind of education he or she should opt. And the fourth one is child's goal. It is a kind of personalized goal than what actually child want in their career, in their future life, in their physical life, what he want. It is a kind of personalized this child goal. So these are three steps of guidance. Sorry, four level of guidance. Child counselors. Child counselors relationship is significantly important in influencing the effectiveness of the process. In effective child counselors relationship must be all means a child counselors must have all the capabilities and qualities. The child counselor relationship should be connecting link between the child world and the counselors. Means counselors can enter into the child's world without informing to the child and without disturbing the child world. The child counselor relationship should be exclusive. The child counselor relationship should be safe. There are three basic rules. Child is not permitted to injure himself. Child is not permitted to hurt the counselor. Child is not permitted to damage the property by doing the counseling. The child counselor relationship should be authentic. The child counselor relationship should be confidential. Means there should be a proper relationship between the child and counselor. So nothing has to be go out. The child counselor relationship should be purposeful. Purposeful means what behavior counselor has to want to modify within the child and what ability the counselor want to develop within the child. So this is unit 7, and I think this is the unit 8 of this last unit of this block. Yes, so that is principle and procedures. The define the intelligence, and I think this is the wrong topic. It's talk about kind of intelligence and all. So define intelligence. What is the intelligence? Emergence of various theories. What are the theories of intelligence? And intellectual quotient, that is IQ, and difference between the group and individual test of intelligence, because there are so many tests to analyze or to and find out the intelligence level of the child. And this is a kind of important topic that is related to intelligence of the child. So first of all, let us know what is the meaning of intelligence. So STEM in 1904 defined the meaning of intelligence. Intelligence as a general capacity of individual to consciously adjust his or her thinking to new requirement. Means how the child is thinking on how child is reacting and how the child is solving the new challenges, that is known as kind of intelligence by which the child can solve their or child can cope up with the new or upcoming challenges and requirements. According to Alfred Binet in 1905, also he has given some definition, and he has derived a questionnaire on intelligence by which researcher or teacher can identify and analyze the intelligence of the child. What Binet said, he is a Binet said that it is an ability of individual to direct their behavior towards their goals. Jean Piaget has also defined the intelligence, and Jean Piaget is an eminent Swiss psychologist. Realized that the intelligence is adaptation to physical and social environment. So there are three definitions given by the psychologist on the intelligence. One more, the comprehensive definition given by the David, who has defined intelligence as a global capacity of an individual to act purposefully, think rationally, and deal effectively with in the new environment. It is one of the most accepted definition as it include majority of aspects, means kind of rationality, kind of effectivity, and kind of purposeness. So this intelligence can be taken as a full or complete definition of intelligence. So, based on the above definitions, the intelligence is the ability to learn. Intelligence is the ability to carry out higher process of thoughts, especially abstract thinking, and the ability to adapt to the new situation. This is the complete definition based on above four definitions. So, by knowing the intelligence, what is the meaning of intelligence? Means to adapt, the capacity or the capability to adapt with the new upcoming challenge and upcoming situations. It is a kind of intelligence. So, there are some theories on intelligence. One is factor theory, unitary theory, this anarchic theory, two factor theory, group factor theory, and group factor theory also have some points that verbal factors, spatial factor, numerical factors, memory factor, word influence factor, inductive reasoning factor, deductive reasoning factor, and one most this Venn hierarchical theory, Guilford theory on structure of intellectual, Guilford theory on this intelligence. So there are so many theories and which are very comprehensive. So my suggestion, you read the all theories from the your study material, because these are kind of theoretical, and it will take, if I go one by one all the theories, then it will take a very long time. So just read all theories. If you have any problem, we will discuss in coming sessions whatever you have. So go to the next slides. Yeah, this is the theory of intelligence. Means this is the important theory, that is triarchic theory of intelligence. The triarchic theory intelligence was formulated by Robert J. Sternberg, a prominent expert in the research of human intelligence. Why intelligent people fail? He described. According to this, the number of reasons why so-called intelligent people fail. Let us see. Intelligence people fail. Why? Because nature of human intelligence. Some may have the human intelligence, but not kind of realistic and naturalistic intelligence, and sometimes lack of motivation. The child is intelligent, but there is no motivation, that intelligence cannot be developed. Lack of impulse control, lack of perseverance, lack fear of failure. Sometimes the child is intelligent, but he or she has fear of failure, and uh, procrastination, inability to delay gratification. So there are factors, there are reasons why intelligent people fail. And this is and too little and too much self confidence. If the intelligent child having much confidence, this is also reason. If he or she has having low or small confidence, so they always fail. So by is a teacher, by knowing these factor, he or she can modify their child by make the child intellectually developed. One is Harvard theory. This Harvard also given some theory on intelligence. This theory is known as theory of multiple intelligences. So another this is an important theory, and in which he has defined intelligence is defined in various way, like visual, verbal, logical, bodily, musical, interpersonal, personal, naturalistic, existential. So, in this theory, there is a implication of why this theory is important for a teacher. Each person process all type of intelligences. Intelligence can be developed by this theory. Teacher is aware that intelligence can be developed. Intelligence work in complex ways also, and there are many different ways to be intelligent. Next is yes. So these are the some theories which were important. Although I was talking, if you go the all theories in detail, if you find anything, then you are always welcome. So major characteristics of intelligence. Basically, what is intelligence in real form, and what are the characteristics? Intelligence is the mental capacity or mental energy available with the individual at a particular time in a particular situation that helps an individual in the task of theoretical as well as practical manipulation of things, object, or event. Means it is a capability how the child can cope up with the coming challenge. This is called intelligence. So, what can be the practical manipulation on object? That the ability to learn. Intelligence always linked with ability to learn, ability to solve the problems, ability to deal with abstractions, ability to see relevant relationship with objects and ideas, ability to apply acquired knowledge to new situations, ability to kind of excellence of performance as manifested in efficient work, and analytic and synthetic ability of mind. So these are the characteristics which are linked with the intelligence. Means what basically what intelligence do? Intelligence create the ability to learn. Intelligence create the ability to solve the problems, deal the situations. This is the role of, and this is the characteristics of intelligence. Yes, one is most that is called of distribution of intelligence, and distribution of intelligence can be done based on IQ. You must have heard the IQ. What is the IQ of child? Means intelligence quotient. As children grow in age, their intelligence also increase, but their mental growth sees at a certain age, which varies from individual to individual. If you measure the intelligence of a range and represent sample of population and plot the result in the form of graph, you will get a bell-shaped curve called normal distribution curve. Means if you find the intelligence level of a child or a particular group, then your outcomes, your data will be come into the shape. Means opposite you. So this is the IQ classification. If the IQ is 140 of the child, that can be classified that child is genius. Means he or she has special attention by the parents and state special class in. If the IQ is 130 to 139, then the child is very superior. If the IQ is this 120 to 129, the child is superior. If the IQ is below 100, that child is average. If it is below 90, then dull average. If it is the 70 to 79, the child is borderline. If the IQ of the child is 60 to 69, the child is mentally deficient. So this is the IQ level, and IQ level describe the classification of the child, whether the child is genius, very superior, superior or average, or kind of mentally deficient. So this is the IQ level and their qualities and their capabilities. this IQ that we have discussed in the previous session, how we can calculate the IQ actually. There is a formula to calculate the IQ. Intelligence is usually measured as IQ, intelligence quotient इसको बोलते हैं. A term used for the first time by the William Stamp. So William Stamp can be the first person who has calculated the IQ. He is a German psychologist. Is usually calculated by using the following formula, that IQ is MA divided by CA and total is multiplied by 100. MA means mental age of the child. CA means chronological age of the child. What is the mental age and what is the CA? Suppose you want to calculate the IQ of child of 8 year, means CA means chronicle age is 8 year. If you will present the questions assigned for 6 year and the process proceed to 7 and 8, suppose the child answer all the questions assigned for 8 years, means the examiner will give questions for 9 year and so on. Simply you can understand, if the researcher is giving some questionnaire to the child which is the level of 6 year age, and he is solving all questions, if the level questionnaire is little tough or little quality, that is the standard of 7. If the child is not able to solve the all questions of 7 standard, means that mental age of child is 6 only. So you can use the formula, the mental age of child is 6 and the chronicle age is 8. Likewise, in this example, in my example, the child is age having chronicle age is 8, but he is able to solve the questionnaire of 8 year standard, but also able to solve the some questions of 9 standard also. So it is 8.2 because he is able to answer the two questions for 9 years. So it is because he solved all questions of 8 year standard. So this mental age is 8, but he is also able to solve the questions of 9 age, but only 2. So 8 plus point 2, that is 8.2 is the mental age, and chronological age what actually age he or she has attained. So by this formula we can calculate the IQ of the child, and this IQ, this sorry mental age can be defined by the questionnaire, by the standardized questionnaire. You can use the questionnaire which are given by the psychologist and which are available in the psycho labs. Classification of intelligence test, there are because there are various intelligence tests. By using intelligence test we can observe the mental age of the child, and what type of intelligence tests are there. There are various type of intelligence test, and there are various basis of classifying the intelligence test. First is individual test, in which only one individual is being tested at a time. The second is group test. The test is given to the group, but the individual are to be tested at the same time. On the basis of their form, intelligence test can be classified into the verbal and language test. Means it can be that test can be verbal and non-verbal, or language or non-language based test. This is the basic differentiation and classification of intelligence test. Classification of what are the verbal and language test. In the subject, in this subject, make use of language in which the instructions are given in the word, written, oral, or both. The individual have to make their responses in verbal and written form. It may include the varieties of items, like that may be the vocabulary test, that may be the memory test, comprehension test, information test, reasoning test, and association test. These are the type of intelligence test. The test may be the vocabulary, means where the researcher want to test the vocabulary of the child, and another test in which the scholar or the researcher want to analyze why want to test the memory of the child. A comprehensive test is related to a subject, means in which the researcher want to the subject know the subject knowledge as well as the others as per their research objective. Information test, if it is related to based some information only, particularly reasoning test, how the child is using their reasoning to solve the issues. And one last, association, where the subjects are tested for his ability to point out the similarities or dissimilarities between two and more concepts. For example, find the odd one, that car, bus, taxi, means how he or she can associate their previous knowledge into the outcomes. This is the further classification of tests: individual verbal test, individual performance test, group verbal test, and group non-verbal test of intelligence. It is also same. Individual verbal test means a verbal test is given to one person, that is individual. Individual performance test is also same. One performance test is given to the one individual person, and there are some founder. Individual test verbal test was founded by the Stanford Binet, uh, and they have prepared a scale that is known as Stanford Binet scale, and by using that scale we can analyze the individual, and we can analyze the intelligence test in term of verbal capabilities. Same is group verbal test is there, and same the group verbal test on intelligence, means these tests do not necessitate the use of language and are applicable to the large group of individual at the time, like army beta test. And this, as I said, that these group non-verbal tests of intelligence are being used to select the appropriate army and to the effective army persons, and it is still is being used in the selection of or recruitment of the army persons. So this is about the block 2. Although we have one more unit, that is block 3, but that we will discuss tomorrow. If times comes, then we will do something to learn these remaining theories and all. If any questions related to today's topic, you can ask, and I am stopping this today's discussion. If you have, you can ask. Otherwise, we will meet tomorrow. And please do study your study material. If you coming by learning your study material, you will be able to interact. Otherwise, it will be totally on one way discussion, and that is not a kind of classes. This is a kind of counseling. It is expected to ask something during the discussion. So today I am closing the session, and tomorrow it is expected that we will be able to start our session at 5 p.m. in right time, and we will try to complete whatever is left. Thank you. Have a good day.